As we approach the end of another calendar year, alongside the celebrations of the holiday season, a new tradition has developed around the celebration of individuals as heroes or people of the year. In certain circles, it feels like we wait with bated breath to hear who Time magazine will select for the annual honor of appearing on their front cover and being hailed as Person of the Year. This year, the coveted title went to Elon Musk, and immediately the debate began over whether he was worthy. Far be it from me to second-guess the wisdom of the journalists at Time magazine. And while many might question whether Musk's character flaws and some of his questionable business dealings should disqualify him, I was struck by one quote about him. He wants eternal glory for doing great deeds, and he is an asset to the human race because he defines a great deed as something that is great for humanity. There's a lot to unpack there. But if the aim is to do great deeds for humanity, let's ignore the personal glory part for a moment. Then from a Jewish perspective, I can start to get on board. And while Time magazine's selection might garner the most column inches, I am always more interested in following CNN, who has established an annual tradition of celebrating heroes. This is my favorite award ceremony, as it celebrates everyday people doing extraordinary things to change the world. I look forward to reading the stories about the nominees, to watching the amazing videos about the finalists, and to being inspired by the idea that each and every one of us has the power to make a positive difference. This year, as Temple Shir Tikva, we cannot mention the CNN heroes of 2021 without recognizing that our very own Jeff Feingold was nominated and featured as one of this year's heroes for the work that he does with Hope and Comfort, a non-profit established by his family to address hygiene insecurity. Through Hope and Comfort, Jeff and his family have done amazing work in helping people to gain access to basic items such as shampoo, soap, and toothpaste, which are both expensive and not available through food stamp benefits. They are undoubtedly heroes for the work that they are doing. Along with Time and CNN, I want to jump on the bandwagon. And while I'm not yet ready to commit to having Rabbi Danny's Hero of the Year as an annual Temple Shir Tikva event, I do feel that this year there is a group who have gone unrecognized for their strength, their resilience, and their heroism, not only in 2021, but during the pandemic as a whole. We have rightly celebrated the healthcare workers who have been in the trenches, witnessing firsthand the real ravages of this terrible disease. We have also deservedly acknowledged the wisdom of the scientists and medical professionals who have been developing treatments and vaccines to fight this pandemic. We should be cheering for our teachers who have ensured that our children have received an education and stability amidst the chaos. And we have, perhaps belatedly, finally recognized and appreciated all of those frontline workers whose day-to-day endeavors, often unnoticed, ensure that our society functions and that we can live our lives. They are all heroes, worthy of our praise, gratitude, and appreciation. But this year, my hero, often unsung, unnoticed, and unappreciated, is the children. Each and every one of them who have been living through this pandemic alongside us, who have suffered through this pandemic with us, and who have actually been a shining and inspiring light throughout. We as adults have struggled to make sense of what is happening around us. We were thrust into a new reality with little warning and almost no preparation. And we have done our best to make good, safe, and sensible choices for ourselves and our loved ones. But the children don't have the same agency or formal power that we do. And so they have had a pandemic happening around them and have been forced to adjust their lives without a voice or a vote. We might not like all of the decisions that our national, state, and local leaders have made during this pandemic, but we at least have the power of a vote to make our voices heard when our children do not. Early on, we were told that the best protection against this disease was to wear a mask. And while we adults fussed and complained about the inconvenience of a piece of material covering our noses and our mouths, the children wore their masks. When they returned to in-person schooling, they put those masks on in the morning and they kept them on throughout the day. And while I'm sure that there has been the odd moan or grumble, they have just got on with it because they were doing their bit to protect each other so that life and school could resume. It would be nice if we adults could follow their example. The children masked up when we told them to, doing their bit to protect one another and our society, and now they are getting vaccinated, once again playing their part in protecting us all. If we look at the impact and effect of COVID, then we know that it is often mildest for the children who have age on their side in fighting the disease. So if vaccination is seen only as being about protecting the individual, then questions might be asked about the necessity of our children being vaccinated. But if vaccination is about the communal and collective good, our responsibility to society, then of course we all, children included, have to get vaccinated. And I know from the conversations and social media posts how many of our TST children have had their vaccination. Once again, doing their bit, uncomplaining, although maybe screaming at the moment, as they help to ensure that we are all protected. The children are the unsung heroes of this pandemic. They are the ones who have set an example for us all to follow. They are the ones who have sacrificed so much, and they are the ones who have played their part in helping to protect us all. In this week's Torah portion, we come to the end of the book of Bereshit, the book of Genesis, and the patriarch Jacob is about to die. As you may recall, Jacob has 12 adult male children who are with him in Egypt. But as he prepares to offer the final blessing, he initially skips that generation and goes to the children, to Ephraim and Manasseh. He declares, "By you shall Israel invoke blessings, saying, God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." Jacob understood the significance of the children as being worthy recipients of his blessing, and also as the blessing which would carry the future generations forward. We don't really know much about who Ephraim and Manasseh were, but to this day, the traditional blessing given to boys on Shabbat is to declare, "May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." We don't know what that really means, because we don't know who they really were. I think, therefore, at its core, the blessing is saying, you are blessed to be children. We are blessed by you as children, and collectively, you and all the children bring blessing into the world. In biblical language, the children are a blessing. In our contemporary language, the children are heroes. As adults, at this time, we do not have all the answers to the questions that our children are asking. I have no response for why we are being forced to live through a pandemic. I do not know enough to explain exactly how COVID is spread and why it is so important to take all the precautions that we do. And I cannot offer any degree of certainty on when or if this will be over or what life will look like after the pandemic. So what can I do? What can we do to repay the heroes and show our children how grateful we are for all that they are doing at this difficult time? The first thing is that we need to tell them. We need to let them know how proud of them we are, how impressed we are, and the ways in which they are giving us strength. The point of naming a hero is to celebrate them, reinforce their actions, and help reinvigorate them to continue forward. That's what we need to do for our children. They need to know that we see them and all that they are doing, and that they are our heroes. And then as adults, we need to ensure that our communities, be they synagogues, schools, or towns, are adequately and appropriately set up to support the children. Our society is suffering a mental health crisis, but it is especially prevalent amongst the young. Last week, the US Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, issued an advisory to highlight the urgent need to address the nation's youth mental health crisis. Our children, our heroes, are experiencing unprecedented challenges and mental angst, and they cannot cope with this on their own. We have a responsibility to ensure that they are supported in ways that help them navigate this difficult moment that we are all living through. I believe that we have done this at Temple Shir Tikva by shifting to a Musar curriculum in Hineni, our religious school. We are focusing on their social and emotional well-being through a Jewish lens and giving them tools through Midot, the character traits, to navigate their way through the world. But there is more that can be done to support the children and their mental health directly, and also to ensure that the adults in their lives have the tools and resources to truly be there for them. I don't usually make specific requests at the end of my sermons. I usually hope that people will take from them what is meaningful and relevant to their lives. But today I do want to ask something specific. To the adults, please go to the children in your lives, and I want you to do two things. I want you to tell them in your own words how proud you are of them and why they are heroes. But I also want you to ask them how they are doing and what they need. Listen to their answers and let us know what they are saying so that together we can find a way to offer them what they need as a small token of our appreciation and a support that is so richly deserved. And to the children of our community, I want you to know how proud I am of you. You have amazed me with your strength and resilience over this past year. You are my heroes, and you have given me strength and picked me up when I have needed it the most. What I want to say to you, most simply, is just thank you. Thank you for so much. In so many ways, you are the best of us and the promise of a brighter future. Shabbat Shalom.